It is January the 4th. We have 7 games on Tuesday night. We have a trade, not a big one, but still a trade. Is there any news, anything to talk about in this trade? We'll cover that. There are lots of rumours flying around. We're getting very close to the trade deadline. This is the Tuesday pre-game show. Let's go balls deep.
I'm the type to get shit done. You the type to observe. March Madness on my speakers, but today's November 23rd. Got something loud in the blunt, yeah. I do and say what I want, yeah. Probably somewhere sunny getting tan. Foreign women in the sun, yeah. That's all that I need. That's all that I need. That's all that I need. Got my brothers with me. Got my brothers with me and my mama's healthy. That's all that I need.
Welcome to the Balls Deep podcast brought to you by Fantasy Basketball International. I'm Adam King. Find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at AdamKing91. Find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere, everywhere you consume fantasy basketball content. We are also part of the Old Man Squad at Old Man Squad on Twitter. Oh, okay. Woke up to a trade. Not a massive one, but it's still a trade. I think it's worth talking about. Basically, it's Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin. Grimes heading to Philadelphia, Martin heading to Dallas. So, look, I mean, quite simply, nothing to do here, I don't think. Very little in terms of shifts in value, adding, dropping, anything like that. Both were fringe players at best, and I think both will remain fringe players. From a Dallas perspective, I do think this is, we talked about the fact that they are now loaded in the backcourt. They have a ton of guards, and I thought they should probably look to consolidate a little bit. Have they done that here with Caleb Martin? Look, yes and no. I think Caleb Martin can play on the wing. Well, he's a better defender, I think, which is sort of the identity they seem to be going for now. So I think it helps from that respect. I think he can play a little bit more as a wing as opposed to Quentin Grimes. He's more of a 2. So I don't mind this for Dallas in terms of their timeline. Their timeline is 2-3 years now, not 5-8 years. And forgetting the Luka trade and whether we think it was fair, all of that stuff. This is their direction. So in that respect, I don't mind this. I think it is a win now kind of a move. For Philly, they get Quentin Grimes, who, look, he'll sort of spot start. It'll depend on Paul George. He's certainly more of an investment than a Caleb Martin. So I don't mind it for Philly as well. I think he gives them some floor spacing. There's a bit of upside there, not a ton, but some. So, yeah, I don't mind this. I don't mind this for both. We'll see. But fantasy value, no. If you probably weren't holding either player, and I don't think you need to go and add them. Let's get into the games. 7 of them, the first of which is the aforementioned Dallas Mavericks heading to the aforementioned Philadelphia 76ers. Weird, very spooky. Dallas, Kyrie Irving returns, Dan Gafford available, Max Christie available. No PJ Washington. He is just out paternity leave. So birth of a child, nothing more, nothing less. And Anthony Davis, of course, not there yet. There is hope he will debut in their next game, if not the weekend. So we're looking at a 1 to 2 game absence for Anthony Davis. All right, so what are we doing? With Kyrie back, with Gafford back, some of that streaming value from the last game is eliminated. Spencer Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson are probably worth a look. Again, we're not wasting moves. If you've got unlimited moves, we stream. If you've only got 2, 3, I'd probably hold on. Najee Marshall, his minutes increased in the last game. He could very well move into the starting lineup here. It will probably depend a little bit on who Philadelphia have in their lineup. So, yeah, I think he's okay. Max Christie, I'd probably wait to see what his role is going to look like, because they have Exum there, they have Jaden Hardy there. There's still depth. Quentin Grimes is gone, but they have depth. So Christie's sort of 50-50, I think, for me. I'm not sure there's a chance he starts. He probably doesn't start. A little bit of uncertainty. For the Sixers, Joel Embiid is questionable. KJ Martin, Andre Drummond, Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, all questionable. Paul George is out. Quentin Grimes obviously out as well. Justin Edwards, I think we hold him until Paul George is back. So if you've got him, I wouldn't be dropping him just because all these guys are questionable. I think he still plays a pretty meaningful role here. Ricky Council, very, very, very borderline. As for the centre rotation here, obviously if Embiid and Drummond are back, Yabusele will take a hit. I'd probably still hold him. Again, if you have limited moves, don't drop him to add someone, because he still will play enough, I think, to have some back-end value. Houston at Brooklyn. Houston will be without Fred VanVleet. We're aware of that. Tari Eason is out, second night of a back-to-back, which was to be expected. They have another back-to-back later in the week, so I would expect an absence there for him. Amin Thompson will start at point guard again. Hopefully he'll be very good. They play Brooklyn, so that is a favourable matchup. Şengün is probable to return, so that is good. If you've had him in your IR spot, I would probably get him active tonight. Cam Whitmore played well last night with no Tari Eason. There is a path to minutes here. I'm certainly not convinced they give it to him, but if he can play 22, 24 minutes against Brooklyn, he's probably worth holding or streaming in if you can make moves without sort of limiting what you can do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For Brooklyn, look, as always, we just don't know, do we? Is it Keon Johnson? Is it Jalen Wilson? Is it Zaire Williams? Is it Tosan Ebwoma? Is it Tyrese Martin? Could be all of them. Could be none of them. We just don't know. I picked up Jalen Wilson, I think, in one league last night. It's I think it's 5 moves. So I still have 4 left. So I was okay with that. He's been playing relatively well. Minutes have been consistent enough. Day'Ron Sharpe is still one of my stash sort of favourites. There are more rumours that the Lakers are looking at Nick Claxton or Rob Williams. If Claxton goes and this centre spot opens up for Day'Ron Sharpe, it's all systems go on him. So I'm holding him in 3 leagues at the moment. I'm hoping it works out. I'm not convinced it will. Ben Simmons also out. Just drop Ben Simmons. He's not playing enough. He's bloody got something going on all the time. So I have moved on from him. Knicks take on the Raptors. Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, both probable. Anunoby, unsurprisingly, ruled out with his foot sprain. Mikal Bridges, probable. So he'll probably play, but he's on the injury report. And I was updating the injury report for Roto Baller, and Mikal Bridges, he hasn't been touched in like years on the injury report. So he was right down the bottom and everything was out of date because he just hasn't been injured. So that is a rare occurrence to have Mikal Bridges on the injury report. I don't think he misses time. Honestly, I think if he had a broken leg, they'd probably name him and he would just stand on the court for the opening tip. Timeout, you're out. It wouldn't surprise me at all to keep this streak going. Precious Achiuwa is who we're looking at here with Anunoby out. He wasn't great last night, but the minutes are there. He's a good rebounder. He can get defensive stats. They play Toronto. So, yeah, I would look at him, maybe Miles McBride. For the Raptors, no RJ Barrett. He's out due to the concussion protocol, so probably a couple of missed games coming here, which gives Grady Dick a little bit of an extra leash. Same for Ochai Agbaji. Both back end, but probably worth holding or rostering. Bruce Brown is questionable. He has tailed off quite badly in the last little bit, so yeah, I'm not rushing to add him or anything like that. Emmanuel quickly will likely remain on his minutes restriction here, so just be prepared, really. All right, Boston at Cleveland. Boston fully healthy. Cleveland, not quite fully healthy. They've got Isaac Okoro out, Dean Wade out, but yeah, basically healthy. So that actually means there's very little to talk about here from in terms of fantasy value, because we know who has value and there isn't really anything to stream tonight. Maybe it's Karis LeVert, Ty Jerome, Max Strus. They're probably your only options there. I guess Strus is starting. Maybe he's the priority. Jerome has been playing very well. LeVert probably has maybe the best game in terms of fantasy value. Doesn't always translate. So we'll just go to the next game. Miami at Chicago. Jimmy Butler, man. You read stuff. You all read it as well, that there was a trade in the works with the Warriors for Wiggins, and Butler basically said no. The players having this much say in things like this is just ridiculous. Like, the teams need to either just grow a pair and do it, or anyway, I don't know. It's frustrating. For Miami, no Jimmy Butler, of course. So Hayward Highsmith will start, but we're not adding him. It is Jovic, it is Rozier. They're the two names that we want to look at if you have capacity to stream tonight. For the Bulls, obviously no Zach LaVine, he's gone. So we're getting the small ball lineup with 4 guards and Vooch. Matas Buzelis should probably have been rostered in most leagues by now. Lonzo, Dosunmu will be must-roster players moving forward. But moves to come. We assume that there is a Vooch trade coming. It's not guaranteed. It's the Bulls. But if there is, Jalen Smith is our stash. He is questionable tonight with an illness. So if you are stashing him, he's been doing stuff. If he misses time tonight, that's pretty rough, because you don't want to drop a stash guy like this. Lakers at Clippers. For the Lakers, no Luka Doncic, but he is also close to returning, so we would expect him in the next game or two. So don't worry about him. Jackson Hayes will start at center. We are assuming there is a move coming here for the Lakers. They desperately need... Look, the press conference with Luka, saw bits of it, read through transcripts. Sounds like he's pretty pissed off, to be honest, and I think he's going to come in here with a pretty clear goal of winning a title and basically sticking it to Dallas, which is a shame, because it was such a happy relationship. Well, it appeared to be a happy relationship. It obviously wasn't, but he was very well loved by the fans. So, yeah, it's a shame, but it's a business. I get it. But, yeah, look, with him having eyes on a title, assuming alongside LeBron, that means they have, a year, 2 years, 3 at the most, which means they need to get a center, because there is absolutely no way they're winning with Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, Christian Koloko. They need a center. Well, they need a couple of pieces, but priority, a center. But for now, Jackson Hayes should be rostered. Rui Hachimura should probably be rostered as well. Gabe Vincent, I'm not really interested in him. He'll probably be starting and playing, but yeah, we don't need to roster him, I don't think. For the Clippers, Norm Powell is off the injury report, as is Chris Dunn. So they are basically 100% healthy, which means that probably our only fringe asset is Derek Jones. He's been playing minutes. He's been doing stuff. I would quite clearly have him over Coffey, Porter, Batum, Dunn, those guys. And the final game, Indiana at Portland, the surging Portland Trailblazers. For the Pacers, Miles Turner questionable to return. Aaron Nesmith, who was pretty good last night, he is questionable as well. If Turner returns, it means old mate Thomas Bryant can be dropped. Don't know if Turner's going to play, so just hold Bryant. See, Benedict Mathurin, he's a hold. He probably trend towards a drop. I don't know. He's pretty rough, as is Nemhard. I'd actually rather Nemhard, and I'm not that high on Nemhard. I just think he does more. He gets assists, he gets steals. He can score a little bit. Mathurin is points only, and it's pretty spotty at the moment. TJ McConnell, assists and steals, we know the story there. For the Blazers, look, I mean, I criticise them about rotations and things like that. DeAndre Ayton has been playing very well, has to be rostered. It makes Klingon really hard to roster at the moment. I still think he is a stash, but he's doing nothing, literally. Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, both should be rostered. Their minutes are very up and down. While they're playing well, they seem to be down. Scoot was fine last night. He had 15 and 6 from memory, 23 minutes. But again, 2 days, we might have a different looking team here. There might be no Jeremy Grant. There might be no Anthony Simons. There might be no DeAndre Ayton. Although maybe they're just going to run with this. I mean, I do like their young core of all of these teams. Kamara looks like a really nice piece. Avdia has proven himself, which is what we wanted. So quite a few positive things, I think, coming out of Portland at the moment, which is interesting. Okay, let's do some quick questions. Matt Carmody. Hey, Matt Carmody. Chad has to stop sleeping. Yep. Well, maybe you don't, you see. When you go to sleep, trades happen. So good night. Go back to bed. Alex, as a Sixers fan, I'm assuming, because you're sad to part with certified Celtics killer Caleb Martin. They do get a cheaper, younger, healthier Grimes, yes. Yeah, I like it for Philly, as I said, long term. I think Grimes has... I think Caleb is who he is at this point. He's not getting better. Grimes, we've seen flashes. He just needs a bit of an opportunity. I feel like Grimes needs a consistent opportunity, which if Philly continue down this path of nothingness this year, if he starts and plays 33 minutes a night, I think he'll find rhythm and actually be a relatively decent piece for them. And yes, they are looking to extend Yabusele, which I think they should absolutely do. Chad has seen people talking about Grimes potentially being a starter. But if they're trading for picks, they would potentially unload him. They could. We don't know what Philly are doing at this point. It probably comes down to Embiid's health, which is terrible. It's worse than what I even thought it would be. So, yeah, they could move him. But, yes, he could also start. Okay, is Aaron Gordon worth using as an ad or with an ad? Using an ad on with injuries to Westbrook and Watson? Look, I probably wouldn't. The Watson injury doesn't really impact him at all. Westbrook a little bit, but they've still got Jokic, they've still got Murray, they've still got Porter. So they've still got, like, he sits, because I think you'd argue that Westbrook, when he starts, is fourth option on offense behind those three. I don't think it's much of an argument, to be fair. So Aaron Gordon maybe goes from fifth to fourth. Doesn't make a massive difference. I think Strouthar is the guy that's getting the bump here, and Christian Brown, as opposed to Aaron Gordon. Oh, good question from Baby Jesus. Do we drop Sohan for Buzelis? Oh man, that is really hard. Because I'm high on both. I actually don't know. I think it... If Sohan... Because I said this on the show yesterday, I think Sohan is still part of their move, their plans. Like long-term, they see him as a key piece, which to me means they will start him at some point. I think he's much better as a starter. And if that's the case, then no, I wouldn't. If I could tell you that Sohan is going to start and play 32 minutes, I would say no. But I can't tell you that because they've got De'Aaron Fox coming in. They've got Steph Castle, who has been playing really well. Harrison Barnes is still there and fits what they're doing. Buzelis, his arrow is firmly pointed up. Sohan's is sort of maybe up. I don't think it's down, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. So I think that's okay. I think as high as I am on Sohan, he's not going to come in and be a top 60 player or anything like that. He's like top 100, top 90, and I think Buzelis has that upside as well. So I'd be okay with that. Shining Knight, hello. Hope all is well. All is well here, yes. I played basketball last night, though. I'm a bit sore, I'll tell you that. One of my leagues, you were offered a Kongwu for Beal. Well, it comes down to stats, categories. What do you need? Do you need points and threes, some assists, or do you need rebounds, blocks, field goal percentage? In terms of overall value, comparable, I think that's a fine trade. Is PJ Washington falling out of the top 100 after this? Sorry, I'm reading injury updates. I don't think so. I've said with Dallas, a lot of the value here hinges on what they do with Anthony Davis. If he starts at the 5, no. Well, he takes a hit. I don't know if he falls outside the top 100. I think PJ will continue to start. I'm pretty sure of that. I think he's probably still going to be inside the top 100. He just does enough across the board. He'll play 30-plus minutes quite comfortably. I don't think so. I don't think he falls outside. Okay, so Shining Knight, this is... you do need rebounds and blocks, but might be able to replicate it on the wire. Okay. So Beal and a Kongwu was the question. Well, I mean, just in terms of overall value, I think I'd probably rather a Kongwu. I think he has upside to be... We haven't seen his upside yet. Top 50 is what we've always said about him, and I think he could get there this season. Beal, we know, can be a top 50 player. If Kevin Durant is traded to Golden State, who knows, which we are hearing rumors about. But if blocks and rebounds are more prevalent on your waiver wire, then I'd be okay holding Beal. He's been pretty good. But if I just had to pick, like, who would I rather rest of season, upside, opportunity, all that sort of stuff, I'd probably go a Kongwu. What is this? This must be to do with the Jimmy Butler stuff, is it? Players didn't have a lockout and eliminate non-guaranteed contracts for Butler to do his shenanigans. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with trading and players, and it's frustrating. All right, let's keep moving here. Chad, with the Bulls' willingness to go 4 guards, could they go even smaller? They could, I guess. Buzelis is very athletic. I think he has some nice shot blocking upside, but there's not much to him. That would be wildly small if they did. There's a chance, but Jalen Smith fits a small ball lineup anyway. He's not a big body. He spaces the floor. I guess there's a chance, but I doubt it. Did I see the interaction between Gilbert Arenas and Kenyon Martin? I did not. Gilbert was wearing a homemade Luka Lakers jersey. Kenyon's like, you can't do that. You're a Euro hater. He's a Euro on the Lakers. He's a superstar. Yeah. Yes, I did see this, Chad. That is what I was just reading before. So LaMelo Ball has, let me just read it here, progressed to on-court activity. I think we sort of penciled this in as All-Star break, that they would just hold him out. And what are we, a week? Next Wednesday are probably the last games. So we're 3 games away, maybe. Look, maybe he gets one in before the All-Star break. I don't know. But, yes, I don't think we thought this would be a long-term thing. Okay, Warren Balakrishnan. I guess it's Warren, or is it Warren? Anyway, question. Alvarado, rest of season. Look, yesterday wasn't great, was it? Look, I think he's probably rosterable, top 120, maybe. And his value comes from 2 categories, assists and steals. That's it. So I think he's fine to hold, and I would certainly be holding after 1 game. They started Javonte Green. It could have been a matchup thing. So I would definitely hold him for the rest of the week, depending on what happens after the trade deadline. We are happy, Chad, along with you, that LaMelo will come back. I have him in so many leagues. Park, would I consider Naz Reid a better player fantasy-wise to wear in a 9 cat? Ooh. Different. Let's say different. Look, I think if we look at pure rank, no, because where has the blocks upside, and as we know, low volume categories equal fantasy value. So if we look at just who is the higher ranked player at the end of the season or over the last month, it's probably Ware, because he could average 2 blocks. In terms of overall, it's pretty close. Ware's offense is very up and down. Julius Randle, we don't know how long he's out for here. So Naz Reid gets a bump, and has been, he had 30 or something yesterday. He's been pretty ordinary this season, but I think he's got a nice window here. So I think, I think in terms of overall value, Ware is probably, I said, higher, but I'd be okay with either. If you don't need blocks, I'd go with Naz Reid, put it that way. Is Cam Johnson a drop? No, I wouldn't. Not now, no. He might be, but I wouldn't do it 2 days before the trade deadline. Shining Knight going to do the trade. What was that trade again? Getting a Kongwu? Or was it trading? Oh, yeah, Kongwu for Bill. Yep, I think you're okay to do that. What's this one? Yeah, this is an interesting one, Chad. Butler is obviously trying to get his way. He's trying to dictate where he goes. And the longer we go on with this and these shenanigans, then, Miami might just dig their heels in and say, no, we don't want to trade you. And if we get to 3 p.m. on Thursday and it hasn't happened, then he's not going anywhere. So, could be a bumpy end to the season. And yes, a Kongwu for Beal. That is right. So I think that's okay, The Bucks are reportedly shopping Bobby Portis. Is Taurean Prince worth stashing? No, I don't think so. No, I mean, Taurean Prince plays starters minutes a lot of the time anyway and does nothing. So, no, I don't think I'd be doing that. All right, I am going to leave you all. I'm going to just check if we've got any updates. Oh, I say, so Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond are out. So Yabusele, that helps him tonight. Still no word, it doesn't look like, on... Actually, I'll just check. check this one. Okay, so who's this guy? Athletic. Okay, looks as though Embiid will play. Oh, okay, he will. Yep, Embiid is playing tonight. No indication that I can see on what the minutes restriction. I will assume there will be a minutes restriction, but Embiid looks like he's returning. So that hurts Yabusele, but no Drummond helps him. So we hold him. We're not doing moves. We're not doing anything there. Man, I love trade rumors. There's a lot of them floating around. Okay, so that looks like that is it. Oh, Kyle Lowry's out. Well, breaking news. All right, so we are good to go. No Eric Gordon fire up the Kyle Lowry shares, and then Kyle Lowry is out as well. There we go. What a blow. All right, I am going to go to work. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. There will be a post-game show this afternoon. All things going well. Please go and download. Please go and find the trade deadline show, like all of that stuff. Appreciate you all as always. I'm Adam King. This has been the Balls Deep pregame show. Until next time, catch ya.
You just listened to another episode from the Fantasy Basketball International Podcast Network. Thanks for joining us. And for more information about joining our community, please check out our website at FBI.